This is Stephanie Bell, your host of Embracing the Empty Nest. We've had a wonderful, yesterday was amazing, and today, so far this morning, has been just a gift to me to hear all of these fabulous speakers. So we have Michele Ray coming on next. I'm going to go ahead and pin you, Michele. And Michele Ray is a transformational intuitive coach and spiritual teacher. She is also the founder of The Center Within, and author of Living from The Center Within, co-creating who you are becoming. Your bio is so impressive. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey? And you'll need to unmute yourself. Okay.
Thank you, Stephanie, for the invitation to be here and for putting together this 2-day summit around powerful time for us to be empty nesters and really embracing the gifts of this time in our lives. I appreciate it very much. My journey, maybe like most of us, I'm a mom of 2 and they're adults now in their 30s, and I have been a human development studier my whole life. I've been super fascinated with how the unseen world of our beliefs and our inner talk and impact how we live our life. And through that process, have gotten a master's degree. I've taught at the University of Minnesota in their health coaching program. I actually taught a business class and some classes on the mind-body connection. And over the years, I think I've just been a student of how to be human and enjoy being engaged in those conversations. So one thing led to another, and through different trainings, I was invited to teach, and I've been a leader in corporate America in the health and wellness industry as well. And the book itself, Living from the Center Within, came out of conversations with clients and students saying, I'd like to share some of this with my spouse or my mom or my neighbor, or what can you, more than your blogs and some of the free information you have on your website. So one became a passion of a labor of love, as they say, with the books. And it has invited more and more conversations to be able to, the heart of it for me with being human is, how do we find the most empowered, authentic version of ourselves? And if we can all call each other forward into our power, the world is going to be a better place. So that's a little bit about my journey. Like most of us, probably some of it through suffering and needing to understand my own suffering. In particular, for me as an intuitive and an empath, it's like, holy buckets, how come I feel so different at, I live here in Minnesota at the Mall of America versus my, walking around my favorite lake. And some of it has just been the curiosity about how other people live their life and what practices do they use and how do they have that mindset. So continuing the journey, enjoying the conversations you're facilitating, Stephanie.
Thank you. It seems like everyone is so stressed out today. And I think that our stress it's in the home, it's in the workplace, it's in the world, it's political, it's just everything. It's just everywhere. We're all feeling stressed. So what are the physical and mental effects of prolonged stress on our body?
It's a great question. And I would love to start by saying that stress response is the most beautiful, intricate human capacity that we want to be grateful for. Because if our house is on fire, we want our sympathetic nervous system to go up. We want to not be able to think very clearly and shut off our executive functioning. We want to stop our digestion. We want to dump our body with cortisol and adrenaline and, be able to really move. The issue comes when the sympathetic nervous system is turned on, when it's not a crisis, it's not in the present moment. It's something we're worrying about, or a what if, or living the past or future. And then our parasympathetic nervous system gets out of balance and gets shut down on a more regular basis with this chronic stress. And that's where we really get in trouble. So we want to, one, notice what triggers us, right? We get information that comes in and our mind, the midbrain says, danger, danger, and turns on our fight and flight, right? Protect and defend at all costs. And we live on this over high arousal with this constant grate on our nervous system where we don't return to homeostasis. In addition to noticing our triggers, if we can notice our symptoms, super helpful. What is your emotional response? Do you withdraw? Do you fight? Right? What is your behavioral? Do you bite your nails? Right? What happens in your body? Does your stomach hurt? Does your jaw tense up from tightening? Your upper back, one of my go-tos, do you get migraines? So the more we can understand our stress triggers and our symptoms, we can notice them more quickly and then apply practices to bring our bodies back to homeostasis, back to that balance of the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So we are open to our intuitive self, our executive functioning, our reasoning and problem solving, and being able to notice the subtle things that are happening rather than just feeling like we're possibly always a victim or waiting for that shoe to drop right on that high arousal. So it's quite a process, this body, the way our mind and our body is connected, and the emotions and the chemicals. But the good news is we've learned through the study of epigenetics, which is how our genes get turned on and off. Literally, we have the ability to choose our response through practices and being able to recognize in the moment when we get stressed and triggered and bring ourselves back to balance.
I had mentioned this yesterday, but I want to mention it again. Deepak Chopra talks a lot about this type of thing and just learning how to regulate your body so that you don't have such an intense trigger response. Does that sound like something that you work with your clients too? How to once you know it's going to happen, you pull in these tools to relax your body?
Exactly. You activate that parasympathetic nervous system. This is the book, Living from the Center Within, and I was taking a look at it, and there's an actual whole chapter about practices. So here are some of the things that we can do that are free, right? That Deepak teaches. I'm thinking of Candace Pert and her research 20 years ago, right? About the mind-body connection. But think about these, noticing the symptoms, noticing your trigger, and being able to do some breath work, even slow breathing or box breathing, right? 4 breaths in, hold for 4, 4 out, hold for 4, changes and the homeostasis and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Meditation, being mindful, just bringing your attention into the present moment with all 5 of your senses is free and available. Music, there's the Mozart effect, right? That our hemispheres get balanced. What are you listening to, and how can that help improve this balance and activate the parasympathetic nervous system? Aromatherapy is another fascinating study around, you can use essential oils and they change your autonomic nervous system to be able to relax and activate that piece of it. Mindful eating, like we all eat every day. So think about just the cooking process or putting it in your mouth and only doing one thing, what a difference that can make to rebalance with the mindful eating. Others include feng shui. You balancing your home, and the energy in your home can be if you're living a lot of clutter. We've had the whole process of learning more about clutter. Moving our bodies, of course, being in nature, we talked about, journaling, guided imagery. There's a ton of resources on the web, on YouTube for guided imagery, even for a particular piece like falling asleep or, worry, those kind of things. Any kind of art, journaling, writing, sculpting. There's biofeedback. If you're not familiar with heart math, they have a lot of free tools about how we can learn to regulate our autonomic nervous system. Progressive relaxation is another one, where you tense a part of your body and then for 3 seconds and relax it. And you can go from your foot to your head. Reflection in relationships, dialogue can be great. Paying attention to your dreams. Storytelling is fascinating. The story we tell about ourselves, and that we can rewrite it at any time. And as we know, with empty nesting, it gets rewritten for us. So we might as well catch up to the present moment. And what is our most authentic, empowered life look like here? So those are just a few things from that chapter in my book, but I really find it useful to fill up our tool chest, know it changes here and there. And a lot of things we don't need any more space or time to activate the mindfulness and the parasympathetic nervous system. And then there are those activities that we do, like maybe go to yoga or go for a walk around the lake or on the beach, or take 5 minutes to deep breathe, that just take a minute to really activate that muscle to bring us back to homeostasis.
One of the problems that we have today, as we were discussing earlier, is women are so busy today and still have the same demands, maybe more than they had, like 50 years ago. And how can a busy working woman create a nice work-life balance? How can they do that when there's so many demands on work today and even home? Like, how can we create that balance?
I'm going to mimic what your previous speaker said. First of all, we have to decide we're worth it. We have to decide we love ourselves, to have self-compassion, and we have to choose. It's an active choice. It's a mindset, because some of the things I just mentioned take no more time or space. So can you once an hour challenge yourself? Maybe some people set a little alarm, right? A little chime. And in that once an hour, you take 5 seconds to take a deep breath. Just pay attention with your 5 senses. What am I smelling, seeing, hearing, touching, maybe tasting in this moment? And just that brings us back to the moment. We talked about mindful eating, right? We're all eating. One of my favorites is in the shower, right? We've got this, I like my smelly soaps, and right, and you're already there. You've got your 5 senses activated. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. Make that a practice where you just tell yourself, today, here's my intention. I'm going to be compassionate with myself. I'm going to schedule time. That's the other part, right? We have to be a priority in our life. Schedule some time in our day to say, do whatever I feel like it for 5 minutes. And just even rechecking in with our body. Am I hungry? Do I want to put my head down? Do I want to put some music on? Do I want to step outside? Do I want to stretch? We have to be willing and able to choose ourselves on a regular basis throughout the day, so that we're not waiting for that time in the future, that 2-week vacation that's scheduled 5 months from now. We want to go to bed at night thinking even about our nighttime routine and our morning routine. Do you give yourself an extra 60 seconds in bed in the morning to stretch, to hold an intention? Do you give yourself 60 seconds sometime before bed to think about 3 things that you're grateful for that day? So once we elevate and include ourselves equally, we are an and in the service that we offer to and from who we love. We just find this lethargy of ways that we can very simply. Another is to, like you're doing here, find summits. What are you listening to in the car? Podcasts. And I really would also say, especially during the empty nester time, notice the relationships that nurture you and nurture them, cultivate them. It might even be a person that you meet a couple times and you're like, there's something about when I'm around that person. I want to, invite him over meet him for coffee. Notice the relationships that drain you. Are they necessary? How do you minimize their impact? Because when we have these opportunities for big transitions like empty nesting, we get to rewrite our story.
Mm-hmm.
And that we want to live that empowered, authentic life in the present moment. So those are just some practical ideas that are on the tip of my tongue.
Really beautiful, Michele. I feel like I could listen to you all day. Your energy is just so positive too. So thank you for that. So what are some services that you would provide to your clients?
I do one-on-one coaching, and I work with people often that are at that transition phase, and they they know where they're at and they see where they want to be, but having a support system and someone to ask powerful questions and to be heard and offer encouragement goes a long way. And I am here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So if you're around this area, I'm in my office at the moment. I have 2 clients I'll see after we're done here in person. I am on Zoom also, as we are here and have clients around the world. So that's one area. I also offer courses. Just started a 10-week course for leaders and visionaries and practitioners wanting to offer an online presence and share their gifts, have a bigger impact with a group. And I'm also starting, along with 2 other co-creators and collaborators, women, a 6-month master course next week that is really designed for ushering in this new era. As you were talking about, of all the turmoil and uncertainty and disempowered things happening, there is a huge movement for those of us who are interested in the up-leveling in humanity, and even for us personally in our level of consciousness. So ushering in this new era in a 6-month meetup group. I'm also offering a once-a-month salon. So if you go to my website, there's also several pages of personal and professional development resources that I've vetted that I often refer my clients to. So those are free. And also offering today a free gift where if you want to sign up and stay in touch with my newsletter, there is a 12-minute or so downloaded guided meditation with some beautiful music from my friend Sandra Julian's studio to be able to invite you into your center within that you can listen to as often as you'd like. So those are some of my offerings. And then, as I said, my book, again, if you're interested in that, pick it up. Living from the Center Within, and I've really enjoyed hearing from women in particular that are using it for their book clubs. And often I will, if you've read it, you might have more questions and want a conversation. So as a follow-up, but feel free to reach out. I don't know if I'm Michele, Michele.
Yes, I went ahead and I posted your link. I know that we have a few, before we hang up, other coaches on here. And I was just wondering if anyone had a question for Michele. She's pretty amazing.
I will say my friend Terry Peterson has popped on here. Nice to see you, Terry. She's also an amazing coach and breathwork and intuitive and guide.
Can you just share one more time about the course that you're offering for leaders?
Yes, it's called Facilitated Leadership and Deep Coaching for New Era Leaders, Visionaries, Practitioners. And it's really a deeply rooted course in the mind-body connection and the process of human transformation to be able to access high levels of consciousness so we can live our most empowered, authentic life. And doing it in community is the new era way, right? For us to be connected, we open up portals and access to energy that we really can't access on our own. So that is starting next week.
Perfect. I'm going to look into that.
That would be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Michele. It was so lovely speaking with you and hearing all of your wisdom. So if you have not purchased her book yet, you need to go look for it. It's The Center Within, Living from the Center Within, Co-Creating Who You Are Becoming.
Thank you, Stephanie.
All right. Thank you so much.